Welcome to another episode of the Generation 3 Trainer Loadout podcast. In this episode, we're going to chat with a trainer and YouTube content creator about his team. This team revolves around Lanturn and Skarmory with an accessory piece, Snorlax. We're going to dive into the strengths, weaknesses, and potential considerations for future revisions to this team. And later in the discussion, we talk about YouTube and content creation, which I think is quite interesting. Anyway, let's dive into the conversation.
My name is Macho. I've been making YouTube videos since about January, but my love of Pokemon goes way further back. I've been obsessed with the Battle Frontier since I've caught, Nighthawk's videos here. I've been really hooked on the Frontier for a few years now, and I've been playing Pokemon since Sapphire released, so that must have been 2003, 2004. I went on a road trip with my grandparents, and they let me pick anything in Toys R Us, and I chose that. And since then, I've been absolutely hooked. So maybe I'm a bit of a Pokemon boomer now, but yep, I love the franchise, still going strong, and I'm really excited to talk about this team today. Really excited.
I have a lot of questions about your channel, but I kind of want to save those for later. But you started in January, so not even a year ago, and your channel's like over 10K like subs. That's crazy.
Yeah, I started in January. I mean, technically, you could argue I started in September on TikTok, making Battle Frontier content actually.
Really?
And then I did a Nuzlocke in short form, so a minute a day. And people kept asking me to make it long, so you can't really do that on TikTok. And then suddenly the ball rolls, and I'm now sat on this podcast.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this together for a while. I think like 3 months, maybe 2 months. I don't know.
But... I think, and this is the thing. This is obviously I won't provide the email chain, or I don't think we'll put it up. The original team I sent you is completely different to this one. And then even last week, I had a complete, still a different team. We've been trying to plan this for so long, and this is the team that we'll go for. This is the team I think I've had the most success with.
I mean, this team looks pretty awesome. So, quick question: which favorite Pokemon?
All time?
Yeah,
man. It might be nostalgia talking, but I love Lotad.
it's a cute Pokemon.
Lotad. He's cute. And I love Ludicolo. I love the line. It's either Lotad or Relicanth. I love Relicanth. And I don't think Relicanth gets enough love.
Relicanth was always like one of those mysterious Pokemon for me, because in the Hoenn region you can only get it like in that one spot above. I mean, I don't remember if it actually is, but I know you could get it in that one spot above like Moss Deep City, and you needed it to get the Reggies. It was just as a mysterious Pokemon for me.
Yeah, it was. I have a lot of history with it. My sister used to borrow my game a lot, purely to catch things, like when we were younger. And she'd always go in the Safari Zone, so I'd have like boxes and boxes and boxes of like Girafarig and Oddish and things. And I'd always go through and have a look, just to see what she caught. And then one day there was Relicanth in there, and I had to beg her, like, how did you get this? This is like early noughties. So I know I didn't have a guide, and the internet was like, ask Jeeves, and I couldn't really find an answer because I was so young. And she never told me, and it took me a few years until eventually I found it myself. But I don't know, it's always had that mystery. And you're right with the Reggies. Like, I have memories of doing that puzzle with one of my friends when I was in like primary school, and being really scared when the room shook. Like, it's got a really deep history of me, Relicanth. But Ludicolo and Lotad also, I think, probably one of the first ones I ever caught, trained up, and finding out, you could use a stone on it, and it, evolved into this amazing dancing
sombrero wearing.
It was so cool, man. I remember that being really cool. Really cool.
Quick thing on the Reggies. I remember, I think it was probably middle school for me, because elementary school was too young, but I didn't even know the Reggies, like, you could get them in those games. And then my friend had the guide, and he like photocopied the guide with the braille on it, so I could decipher what the Reggies, like, how to get them. I don't know. It's just like a different world. Like,
or that, yeah. it really is a different world with it. Like my memory of that was on my game. I had found the room, and I had unlocked, like I hadn't unlocked the cave, but I'd found the Braille puzzle, and my friend he came over and he was a very like his parents made him keep all the boxes and the game carts, like whereas I would I think I tore into my first game carts because they were made out of cardboard. Like looking back, that's such a sin, but I never had the booklet, but he did. So I remember us being like, I don't know what this is, and he was like, oh, I think that's in the manual. So we like ran downstairs, found the manual, and then ran up to my room, and the lights were off, and we probably should have been in bed and asleep, and we weren't. And then we unlocked it. The room shook. When you do the puzzle, the whole thing shakes. And then neither of us slept because we were so nervous.
It's a good memory.
Yeah, it's really, really clear. Really clear. I have no idea how he managed it because I wasn't a particularly astute child. Just somehow stumbled across the chamber, right place, right time, had the manual. Oh, great times. Great times.
All right, so this team we got cooking, I'm going to say it's a pretty spicy team. You got Lanturn on it, and I'm pretty sure, I think Amaryllis, the person we had on a previous podcast, it's one of his favorite Pokemon. So what is this team for? Is this the Battle Tower or Battle Dome? I'm going to probably guess.
This is the tower primarily. I haven't actually tried it in the dome yet because I've been so hooked on trying like that gold medal in the tower. I've got the silver. I've had the silver for ages, but I seem to get to battle. It's like 49 onwards. The wheels come off, or the confidence gets too strong, and then and it just all comes apart. And it's normally user error rather than the team. I have real belief in it. I think if I was a better player, I could have done it ages ago. But yeah.
All right, so let's dive into the team. First, start at a high level, and then we'll break it down real deep.
Okay, so first up is Ether, which is Skarmory. This is trained purely for HP and defense. I know a lot of people go special defense, but I've gone pure defense with this. It's an absolute brick. It's got Toxic, Spikes, Rest, and Drill Peck. It uses a Chesto Berry for that Resto Chesto, which is a personal favorite strategy. Real classic, but my favorite. And its whole role is to get those spikes up and get that Toxic on there. That's pretty much it. If it can deal damage with Drill Peck, cool. But primarily, it's to just cause a bit of status and hazard chaos. After that, I've got Pharos, which is the Lanturn of the team. This is bulky again, so HP, and then it's got a bit of a split between special attack and special defense. It does need to do a little bit more than just soak up hits. So it's got Stab Surf, Stab Thunderbolt, and then Rest and Sleep Talk, which is just so much fun. Nice bit of unpredictability in there. It's got Leftovers for recovery. And I guess it's got Rest as well. So it is very bulky in that front. But the idea is hopefully you don't have to use Rest too much. And the whole role, I've called it Skarmory's bodyguard. That's basically its entire purpose, is to keep Skarmory alive as long as possible and make sure it can do what it needs to do. So that's the bodyguard of the team. And then finally, which has been like the real chop and changey slot, is Atlas, which is my Snorlax. Again, trained in HP, and then attack, and then a very little amount of defense, really. But primarily, it's there to just, I guess, punch things really hard. It's got Choice Band, and then it's got Rock Slide, Earthquake, Shadow Ball, and Return. Once Skarmory's done its bit, this dude comes in and just tries to clean up as much as possible, and also take a hit if it needs to. And that is the whole team setup. That is how it runs.
So why did you pick these three Pokemon?
I think it all started with Skarmory. Like, I play a lot of Pokemon Showdown, particularly Gen 3 OU. It's really in at the moment. I know Jimothy Cool is kind of carries the flag for that on YouTube. He's very like Gen 3 OU is the best, and I really enjoy it. It's nostalgic, and in that format, Skarmory is excellent. Like Tyranitar and Skarmory are absolutely incredible. I know you love Tyranitar,
So cool.
but,
Skarmory's really growing on me. This is such a cool Pokemon.
and I never considered it. As a child, I never considered it really. I liked its design, but never really used it. And it's awesome. It's super consistent. I think that's why I like it. It's very rarely that I think, oh, is it going to be able to do what it needs to do? If it's got a threat in front of it, it can normally deal with it pretty handily. And it can wall so well, which is why I put it all in defense. Because I've got, Lanturn is a little bit more specially defensively orientated. And I think when people come up against a Skarmory, you have to kind of deal with it or move it aside and avoid it. If you can't take it on most of the time, like it's really difficult because of its defensive properties. So the whole team kind of hinged around Skarmory. I want to put Skarmory in a team. How do I make this thing effective, but also still an interesting Pokemon to use? Nature-wise on it, I went for Impish, which is plus defense, I believe. I'm doing that off the top of my head. It's plus defense minus something. I'm sure of it.
I think a special attack.
Yeah, which it doesn't need, which is great. And this will be a theme with the breeding process, really, that I prioritized the nature above everything else. Really, I wanted the right nature because I think that bit would really annoy me if I didn't get it right. And I wanted it to be a wall. I wanted it to be, oh, I've come up against this Skarmory and there's nothing I can do. I can't move it. I can't shift it. Oh, I'm done for. That's the whole premise of the team. It's got IV-wise, it's got 31 in HP. It's got 28 in attack, which is like, wasn't passed down just coincidentally, which is really good. It's then got 31 in defense. And it it has a completely useless, I think it's around the 20s in special attack. And then it's got 31 special defense. So it's like perfect Skarmory wall. Like he's, Ether is top notch. And then 16 speed, which is lower than I'd want. But because it's such a brick, it's probably going to be able to take the hit. And if it can't take the hit, that's probably my fault that I kept it in on something that's, can really hit it. It's not hugely dependent on its speed in the team that I've been using. And in an ideal world, yes, I'd want 31 in everything, but I've just got too much stuff to do to breed for like an absolutely perfect and I'm sure you feel that as well, where
diminishing returns after like 2 IVs for me.
That's exactly it. And I was really lucky with this because it's great. Like the fact that it had 3 IVs in the right spots and then 28 attack was just, and the right nature,
In my head, that's like perfect. So
yeah, it's really good. I've had it for a little while and I've tried to get it in a few teams. It's never the one that shifts when I'm like, team building. I'm never like, oh, let's drop Skarmory for something else. I never, ever really drop it in this format just because the whole thing hinges around it.
Sorry, how'd you get the name Ether?
Ether, so they're all kind of Greek orientated. Mainly like me and my fiance could try to go to Greece as much as possible. Just British summer isn't really that summery, so we try and go to Greek. So I've been getting more into the mythology in the area and things like that. So Ether, I think it translates to like upper sky or something. It's the name for the upper sky. So I thought that would be quite cool for a flying type.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they've all got like Greek-y themed names, which is cool. There is also a Heracross that I don't use anymore called Hercules, but I'll talk about him in a minute. Yeah, he's great. So its EV investment is 252 in HP, and I think maxed out in defense as well. And then I think maybe I put the last points in speed, but I can't really remember. I'd have to have a little check, but I'm sure those single figures don't make that much of a difference.
In my head, it doesn't. Maybe it does it like the high level, but I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
noise at that point.
I understand there's like people out there who can get into the speed tiers and you don't need to put that much in that stat. I'm not. I'm not at that level of battling where I'm like, oh, you don't need 250. If you use 236, you'll still get the KO. And I'm not that strategically minded. I'm like,
I've
put
recently
them all in
opened up
there.
that.
Yeah, I did speed tiers a little bit. I tried having a look at speed tiers, and in the end, I was like, I've saved points, but I don't know where to put them. Yeah, and yeah, it's really good. I think most of it's level up moveset really, but the drill peck, it doesn't learn drill peck through level up. It does in later generations, but in Gen 3 it doesn't. So I needed to pass that down from a Fearow. So I have a fairly decent Fearow somewhere, but I've never used it.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, hidden in the deep, deep, dark boxes. Like there's a fairly good Fearow. But yeah, that's the kingpin. I think Ether is without Ether the team doesn't work. But I'm sure that you've probably had teams where you're like, if I remove this part, it'll maybe fall to pieces.
I mean, if I'm being honest, like my teams, there's so much overlap that like, yeah, I don't know. My teams are just weird. I gotta get better at this, but pretty much if I add anything new to my team that covers each other's weaknesses, the team gets better. I just have so many Pokemon that just overlap weaknesses.
Yeah, you're a big Steelix fan.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah, I totally get the Steelix. I totally get the Steelix thing. I would love to fit it in there, and it's a really good Pokemon. Like that's the nice thing about it. It's not just Big Steel Snake. It's Big Steel Super Snake.
I guess questions for Skarmory, but we can also we can hop into like another Pokemon, and then we'll circle back once we go through the other two.
Yeah. Okay. Now, like, I know that, like, looking at this team, like, Lanturn is probably the one where people are like, "What? Why Lanturn?" I do get that. I understand.
It makes perfect sense though. Like if you're saying it's because Skarmory's weak to fire and like electric, and Lanturn is like a special defense wall who resist. Like that's perfect, right? Is that the thought process?
That is exactly it. I was doing like a bit of research online, and I thought I need something that resists fire and electric. And Lanturn doesn't just resist. Lanturn's ability, Volt Absorb, it's complete. It doesn't even get damaged. It doesn't even take a hit. So it's like, you put Skarmory out, immediately a Thunderbolt will wreck it, or a Thunder, or any sort of electric move will completely destroy it in one. But you chuck in Lanturn, and it just soaks up the hit. So it's like the turn never took place. So you get a free switch, and the Lanturn's suddenly in, which can probably deal with the threat. And what's so nice about it is Lanturn's weak to grass and ground, so Skarmory resists those.
Ooh, it's spicy.
They're like best friends, but like I hadn't really seen the combination that much, and I'm sure people have used this before. In 20 years of the Battle Frontier being out, I'm sure someone's done it. But they're such a good combination. So that's exactly it. That's why it's the bodyguard. It keeps Skarmory ticking a little bit longer than it might do. Now there are threats which we'll get into later, but for the most part, that it's a pretty nice match. It's pretty nice.
I got a pretty important question, I guess. We'll probably get into it in a bit, but I figured this would be a good time. So, when you built Skarmory, I'm going to assume you knew you were using Lanturn, and there's maybe in your head there was no point in investing in special defense on Skarmory because it essentially doesn't have any weaknesses to special defense. Sorry, the special attacking moves, because you're just gonna switch into Lanturn anyway.
It's pretty much it.
Yeah, you went in knowing that.
Yeah, and I had a Skarmory, and I was looking for counters, and I had the Skarmory idea. Like, I want to use this, but I want to make it really bricky. So you're right. There's no point. And actually, there is a real threat to Skarmory that, like, I've got a whole, in my head, I've got all my weaknesses, but we'll touch on that later down the line in this. But it's either Skarmory survives or you swap into Lanturn and it still survives. That's kind of the premise. Like 99% of matchups are fine to keep Skarmory alive. Like Lanturn is basically the punching bag. Like that's it. It's not made to take hits that well. It does take hits well, but if you have to go into Lanturn, it's because the your opponent has managed to, luckily started with something that can threaten the streak really. But that's pretty much where it is. This Lanturn is okay. It's okay. I didn't put as much time into it. So its nature is calm, and it's got the Volt absorb ability. Now, I had a few Lanturns that had the right nature, but the wrong ability, which I think is Illuminate, which is useless. It does nothing. Yeah. So that was frustrating, and I think I lost patience a bit. Its HP is 29, which is high, which is, that's I'm okay with that. It's got 12 attack, 20 defense, but hopefully it doesn't have to take the hit. It does have 31 special attack and 31 special defense, though.
Nice.
Which is good. And then it's got 27 speed. So I've got quite lucky with the random rolls. And I did a little bit of like, Lanturn like breeding. I did it for a while for the Chine Chow. I can never pronounce it. Chin Chow. I can never pronounce.
I don't even want to try.
Lanturn's pre-evolution is like someone will know.
Someone I call it Chim Chow.
Chin Chow.
Probably not, but Chim Chow.
That's quite British of me. Oh, the Chine Chow. Yeah. Yeah, I did that breeding for a while, and there's no moves to hand down. Like Surf is an HM, Thunderbolt's a TM, Sleep Talk's tutor, Rest is you get given rest, so you can kind of just build Lanturn quite easily. It's quite easy to build. You just need to try and get quite a good one to start. But yeah, I think its EV investment, it was maxed out in HP, and then it was a bit of a split between special attack and defense. I think it was about 150 special attack, and then the rest in special defense, I think. So it doesn't take hit. It could take hits better, but I need it to do more than that, because its whole point isn't just to soak a hit. It's to get rid of the Skarmory threat, or at least maim the Skarmory threat. It needs to get something off, and it does. It really does. I was shocked at how, because its stats on paper aren't tremendous. I think what does my one have? I think it has 115 special attack, which is okay. It's not, it's not massive levels, but it's not poor. So it can do enough damage to, kind of at least get at the threat most of the time. Yeah, and it does have Sleep Talk though, which if you go on Smogon, that's one of like the main ideas for Lanturn, is this sort of like Sleep Talk resty stab hitter. So I kind of based it off of that. But I also I love gamble mechanics in games.
Who doesn't? I love fishing.
I used to have this dice jar Yu-Gi-Oh deck many years ago, which is great fun. Let's roll a dice, let's see who wins the game, which I think the Sleep Talk kind of is. There's a chance you get what you want. There's most of the time you don't, but when you get it, it feels really good. You're like, that's why we're doing that.
So Sleep Talk, again, I don't see it too much, but so when you're asleep, rested, and you use Sleep Talk, is it a 1 in 4 chance of any of those moves? So it could use Sleep Talk again, or like how does it decide what move to use?
Yeah, it's completely random. It just picks one of the random moves you've got. So it could pick Rest and you do nothing. That's a good point. Does it pick Sleep Talk? I don't. It might be a 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, which isn't too bad, really. But to be honest, most of the time it's like, oh, I'm just asleep. But it gives you a chance. If you're going to be asleep anyway,
Yeah.
It gives you the chance to throw out a stab surf. I think it's worth putting in. And I'd already used the Chesto Berry on Ether, so I didn't want to resto Chesto. I don't think you can have duplicate items, so
No.
I had to. That's basically like, and I don't really know what else I could put on it. It does get access to Thunder Wave, which is useful. But I thought if Ether's already trying to poison things, you don't want to.
Some overlap.
I didn't want to paralyze something and then go, oh, I still can't get rid of it. Whereas Toxic would have, just swept you aside. But yeah, like Lanturn's awesome. I never really knew much. I never really had much of an opinion about Lanturn until this team, and now Water Electric is an awesome typing. Volt Absorb's a great ability. Sleep Talk is goofy, and it does exactly what I need it to. So
Yeah, you're selling me on it. You're selling me on the Lanturn build.
Yeah. If you get an opportunity, maybe at some point, like I'll meet you one day and I'll trade you. I'll trade you this team and go, just try this out.
It looks fun. Leftover. So you got 2 rest Pokemon. Chesto on the Skarmory, leftovers on the Lanturn. In my head, because you have Toxic and Spikes on Skarmory, I would think leftovers would be more appropriate on Skarmory. I guess. Where's your head at with just that decision?
Yeah, and I've ran Ether before with, instead of rest, I had Protect, and I had leftovers. I can't remember what team that was in, but it wasn't the Lanturn team. And I did get, and it does what it does. It makes Skarmory a bit more independent, which, for some people that's perfect. Skarmory can just do everything now. It can just stall out completely with the Protect stall, and the Toxic and the Spikes comes in, and the leftovers chips in. I think it does make the team much slower, though. It did, like, games were taking a long time, like the Toxic stall for all Pokemon. But there's a level of consistency in there. And I think this made it picked up the pace a little bit, especially considering Snorlax and Lanturn are quite bulky, slow movers anyway. But I think, to be honest, you're probably right. You could swap it over, and I think you would have a slightly changed team, but it could be more effective. It could not. To be honest, I haven't done that much testing with it, but I could probably change it around. I don't know what you would do with what would you think with the Lanturn then? If you were to maybe, would you keep that as, I guess, still rest sleep talk maybe with the leftovers?
Now that you're thinking about it, if you have sleep talk, you wouldn't really want the Chesto Berry on that. Although
I guess it's like a super contingency plan, isn't it? You might get a bit more out of the Lanturn.
So I'm actually building a Skarmory now, and I was thinking leftovers, Protect, Toxic, Spikes, and then Aerial Ace. And then I didn't even consider, not that I didn't consider rest, but I was like, if I do rest Chesto, like, is that like enough? Like to set up, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to see where other people's heads are at with how to build Skarmory, because it seems like there's a lot of good paths, but I guess it kind of comes down to what does the team need, or like what's more optimal for it. But that's where my head was at. Not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying, if we're gonna do something, like, how should I build this?
I totally get that. I think that's the joy of Skarmory, is there's quite a few different routes you can go, and I'm glad you mentioned the Aerial Ace there, because that is something that I have heavily considered, because it was cool getting Drill Peck on it. Don't get it wrong, nice, bit more power, but when something double teams in the Frontier, you need that, and I don't have that anywhere else in the squad. So I think that's the joy of Skarmory, though. You can really take it as far as you want. Like, I think it gets. Does Skarmory get access to Taunt? I don't even know. There's so many different sets you can use on it. Let me just have a look if Skarmory gets access to Taunt, because it does. So you could have like a taunting Skarmory that shuts down any other
And
status
Torment.
moves. Yeah, like so, and Whirlwind as well. Like if you were just like, you know what, I've set up spikes and I just want to push you around in them for a while, you can do that too. Like it's so cool, man. It's so awesome.
I was gonna ask about the drill peck versus what do you call it? Drill peck versus aerial ace. A little bit extra damage on drill peck is nice with the stab, but at the same time, never missing with aerial ace is I think it may be just better, but
I think
get
you're
it done.
right. Yeah, and I think it was the idea of like I'm going to get as much power out of this as possible. You know, which actually there's not been many situations where I haven't ended up pressing drill peck 2 or 3 times anyway. So you might as well press aerial ace 2 or 3 times, and it always hits. You know, as soon as you get a minimizer, you're kind of like, ooh, you know, especially if it can, you know, rest up and get rid of the toxic. You're in a really terrible spot. So, but yeah, that's where Lanturn is. And then, do you want me to have a little chat about Snorlax? I can.
Yeah, let's get into Snorlax.
This is the spot where if I was to make chopping changes to this team, it is always in this slot. it's always
I
on
think it makes
Snorlax.
sense.
I wanted a choice bander. I wanted something that is going to be a physical attacker because Lanturn does the special side of it. And I guess you could argue Skarmory does a bit of a normal attacking, but it's not exactly what I need. It doesn't clear up. So I went for a choice banded Snorlax, which it's definitely a set you can use on Snorlax, but I'll talk about the other options I maybe could have considered instead of Snorlax. But yeah, it hits really hard and it breaks things down relatively well, you know. And I know some people are like, "Oh, choice band Snorlax is amazing," and it is, but there are parts of it that I think there are just areas where I think, as my play style kind of goes, I'd like it to be able to do slightly different things. But yeah, it's a pretty good Snorlax. It's adamant, which is great. Its whole job is just to pick a move and smash that move non-stop, and hopefully Skarmory's done enough to get rid of it. IV wise, it's 31 HP, 31 attack, and then it's 28 defense, 12 special attack. I think it's around that mark. 22 special defense, which I'm still not that pleased with, and 21 speed. So it's two maxed IVs in an area which I do want, but it feels frailer than it is, which is bizarre because it's Snorlax. In my head, that should be the tank, you know. But it does feel slightly frailer than I want it to, and maybe that's just because I've got Skarmory in the team. Maybe
Relative to your other 2 Pokemon, it's a little bit more fragile.
It is, and it's because it doesn't have any recovery either. Because you need the choice band to hit harder, and because of that, you can't use like any other move apart from damaging moves unless you're absolutely insane. So yeah, it does feel frail, and that's maybe this. It's the area where I need it to be frail, but also really punchy and quick, which is not Snorlax's game. It's EV investment. I put 200 into HP, and then I maxed out attack, and then I put the rest in just normal defense, which I'm still not sure is like the ideal spread, really.
Were you just scared of like fighting moves?
Yeah, they carve through. So like, and I knew that in, you know, brick break's quite common. Focus punch, if that catches you out, you're done. So, and it will be outsped. Like it will get barrel rolled by everything. And there's no speed investment, so it's not even like you randomly get ahead. You know, it's got 45 speed. That is so slow.
Yeah, 45 at level 50.
That's insane. It means it's got something like 0.9 for each level it's got. I'm pretty sure there are like first stage evolution Pokemon that should have higher speed than that.
Caterpie.
Yeah, someone do the math. I'm sure. I'm sure. Um, but when it does get going, it does. I've had success with it. That's why it's still here. Um, I just feel like I've never quite got the pieces of the puzzle to fit with it. Like, Rock Slide's good, but there's some inconsistencies. So, do you miss? And if you miss, oh no. If you lock into Shadow Ball and the next thing that comes out is normal, I know that's not a Snorlax only issue, but that's always tricky. And that's the same with Earthquake, because if it's something flying comes out, and it's the last one, that's it. That you've lost. And then with Return, that is obviously something I would keep on it. But a lot of people online use Body Slam, like the Paralyze as well. But you're swapping power for that. But if you get the Paralyze, there's a good chance that you might be able to get just another hit. But again, maybe I'm just playing for consistencies. And maybe I've done all my gambling with Sleep Talk Lanturn, that by the time it gets to a gambly situation with Snorlax, the fun leaves me a bit and it gets a little bit squeaky. Yeah. You can get Brick Break on it, and I feel like now I've almost sold myself that that's going to be a better idea than maybe Rock Slide. Because when it matches up, when it mirror matches with a Snorlax or maybe an X-Cloud or something, I feel like it's a coin toss. I might win, I might lose. And if the Snorlax goes out and the two, you're already weakened because it's normally the last thing that enters, you're kind of done. That's kind of the run done. It is funny because when it works, it's excellent and the team clicks. But I'm not sure Choice Band Snorlax is what I would do if I was going to do it again. I might go for Curse, maybe, and then I could have Recovery. Yeah, and Curse Lax is, when that gets going, it's almost unstoppable, because it's gonna hit harder than the Choice Band. So I'm talking. Now I've said that out loud. I'm like, it's obvious then, isn't it?
Maybe not obvious, but it's definitely definitely a choice to consider,
Yeah, and I think there are other choice banders who can slot into that role, because all I need is, it doesn't even need to have that much. It doesn't need to gel that well with the other two. It just needs to clear up. Like the janitor of the team. That's what I need. Like a very quick janitor. So Heracross was an option I used for a while, and I really liked that. Obviously, I understand that you could use Metagross.
That's where my head's at, but I love Metagross.
Yeah, and I do have a trained Metagross somewhere called President, I think. But I try to kind of break the norm a little bit. I've got this obsession with trying to make a really good team that doesn't hinge solely around like entirely meta, which often leads me to teams that don't use Salamence and Metagross, and my brain, I lose a really high streak and go, why didn't I just use that, because a Metagross in this team would be really good. This would be a really good team with Metagross at the end of it.
Because even if there's like a fire, weakness, you just swap into the Lanturn and...
Yeah. I think the only issue would be ground, but then you've got Skarmory to avoid it. Like that, with the cogs whirring, it sounds almost, why not? Do you know what I mean? But
I got some ideas and things for the team, but before we talk about maybe those and like things you might want, it kind of sounds like we're already starting to talk about things you might want to change in the team. But before that, the team, how it currently stands right now, what are some problematic Pokemon and how do you go around, defeating those?
Yeah. Right. Bulky normal types. A Snorlax is really annoying. And Snorlax is really annoying to come up against. And Exploud as well. I mentioned that before. Like, that's really annoying because it makes it a bit coin tossy. That's really hard to maneuver because there's no fighting type moves on the team, which is why I think Snorlax might need an adjustment just to, get through those. The grass types can be a bit annoying if they're bulky. Bulky grass types, like the rain dish lady Ludicolo comes to mind. Where it like gets leech seed up. It's getting rain up. It's
One of the worst
soaking those
Pokemon in
hits.
the game.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Skarmory struggles to break it because it doesn't really have enough oomph behind it. So it's getting eaten alive by leech seed while it's trying to fight. And then you end up using so much PP trying to get rid of it that if something else comes in like that, it's really frustrating. And I think the grass is obviously somewhere where if your Skarmory can't take out a bulky grass, then Lanturn certainly can't, really. So you just need Snorlax to come in and try and hit it really hard for neutral damage, which, again, isn't that fun. But yeah, the bulky grasses. Some of those, like, really intense dragon types, like, even, like, Salamence to a degree. Dragon types are just uncomfortable. I don't have anything that can really do damage to them. I don't have any ice attacks on the team. Like, there is coverage options in this squad that I could adjust, but at the moment I haven't. But you can normally maneuver around the dragon by sort of stalling it. A bit of toxic spikes, trying to just shake your way around it. You can get around them, but it's never like, oh, I can dispatch that pretty quickly. It's right. Lock in. Let's try and get this. Unexpected coverage. So if something's got like randomly running like magical leaf out of nowhere, that always catches me off guard. And I don't know the sets well enough, and I never really go, oh, I'm going to Google, what has this Clefabell got, that and if it gets through, so if you lose Lanturn early, you're kind of like, oh, I really hope that there's nothing special to get Skarmory. Like, I really hope now Lantern's gone, they don't drop an Arcanine or a Magneton, which I'll talk about Magneton in a sec because that thing's so annoying. Yeah, so basically the big ones are things that can take out Snorlax. It doesn't matter about the bulk, they can just kind of go straight through it, which isn't often, but it does happen. Like, it's nowhere near invincible. Anything grassy that's bulky is annoying, despite the bulk of this squad. That's really annoying. And those hidden coverages, to be honest with you. And Magneton. Magneton's
So
really annoying.
What's up with Magneton? Don't talk about my boy Magneton like that. Okay.
I love Magneton. It's super good, but it has I'm pretty sure it gets magnet pull.
Ooh,
which
yeah.
means Skarmory can't swap. It's done. It's done. One Thunderbolt. That's it.
You just lose Skarmory. What do you do?
That's it. And now, fortunately, you lose Skarmory, but then Lanturn can take Magneton head on pretty much every time. But despite that trade, you've lost Skarmory. You didn't get spikes up, and you didn't get toxic anymore. And that puts you in a really, really annoying spot, especially if something comes out that's ground. It's often when they're paired with something that has Earthquake. So you got a Magneton, and then maybe something with Earthquake might come out after, and you don't have any resistance anymore.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. But that's, it's the game,
Yeah.
If Skarmory didn't, if we didn't have weaknesses, I would never lose, And things that are quick and hit hard. Aerodactyl is always annoying because it's just so quick. It's so quick. And it hits so hard. It's every time one comes out, I just know that a huge chunk of the squad is getting getting clocked completely.
I gotta backtrack for a second. I probably should ask this before.
That's okay.
You're always gonna be, or not always, but the strategy with this lead Skarmory, either set up spikes or toxic. And once, I guess maybe have you walk through it. What's the general game plan? You know, for like 80% of the games.
Oh yeah, like the go-to, the plan A, the plan A.
Yeah, plan A.
Yeah, it's in order. It's Skarmory first every time. If you can toxic it, go for toxic first. So if it's steel type, poison type, no way. And fortunately, grass type you can get at in Gen 3. I think they removed that down the line. I don't think you can toxic grass types. So in this game, that's fine. Ludicolo, you're annoying, but I can still get you. But so you go that, and then let's say it's an electric type or a fire type, you would swap into Lanturn and try and deal with that threat. If it's, then if the next Pokemon that comes in is something that Skarmory can deal with, swap into Skarmory and just basically treat that as like the first turn again. But let's say they go, Arcanine, and then the next Pokemon is Charizard, and then there's a lot of pressure on Lanturn. So you just kind of have to use Lanturn until it drops. That's pretty much it. I try not to swap into Snorlax unless I'm pretty much like, I need to do this. I really need this. So like 80% of the battles can be solved with the two of them. If you strategically move, you might have to have Snorlax come in to just do a final blow on one of them, but for the most part, it's the Skarmory Lanturn show normally.
So I guess that answers a couple of the other questions too. Like, when are you bringing in Snorlax? But if the main strategy is to just use cycle those two Pokemon, that makes a lot more sense, because I could see so many situations where bringing in Snorlax either too early or too late is just I don't know, it just doesn't seem optimal. It's so slow. I mean, yeah, it hits hard, but it just seems. I was trying to figure out when you would bring that in, but now it makes more sense.
Yeah, and it's slow. You're right. Like, it isn't optimal. And there is always this burning feeling I get in maybe like round 42, 43, somewhere around there, when my brain goes, I haven't seen Snorlax in a while. And then I bring it in and lose.
just trying to give it some love.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, when was the last time I got a KO with, like Dusclops or something? And then it gets KO'd and you go, right, now maybe I won't fall for that urge next time.
I do, not to go into a complete side tangent, but yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, when you get these random urges in the Battle Frontier, just suppress those thoughts. I was telling that to myself, yeah. Like, just let it be a thought. Don't put it into action.
I feel like I need to write like a little card or something that just says stick to it. Just stick to that plan. You made a plan. You trained for the plan.
Don't go try it.
Skarmory isn't going to win against that Arcanine. Don't try it. It's going to overheat and you're going to die. That's it.
This is not the time it's going to work all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's my downfall. And it's always been my downfall, where I'm like, I think I can take this head on. And then you lose and you get put in the corner where you're like, now I've guaranteed a loss, when I was in like, I had checkmate ready and I just threw it. Yeah, that's the plan. Skarmory and Lanturn cycle, and then so if they've got like job roles, Skarmory is the boss, Lanturn is his bodyguard, and Snorlax is just like the janitor at the end of the day, who comes in and just makes sure everything's clean for the next one. That's how they work.
I like the metaphor, the simile.
That's it. That's what we need. That's how I think of them. And if I think of them like that, it suppresses the urges. I'm not going to bring the janitor in for the meeting, the big important meeting. He has to wait. The janitor waits until the meeting is over, and then he cleans up.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So we kind of mentioned some things before about things you might want to change in the team, but I guess I want to dive a little deeper into that. So I have some ideas, but this is obviously your team, so I'm kind of wondering where your head's at. But I want to start with Skarmory. Do you think, I guess Skarmory and Lanturn, that Wombo combo, do you think that's more of like maybe the perfect part of this team? And then if you were to do anything, like you said before, you just change Snorlax. Is there something on Skarmory or Lanturn you'd change or maybe experiment with?
Yeah, I think Skarmory is an interesting one because it's made for spikes, it's made for toxic, it's made for it does what its niche is really well. Like, and I think that's why people love using it. I don't think it's like the end all though, and I love using things that are maybe not as much. Like Fortress would do a really good shift there, and I love Fortress. That might be like top 5 Pokemon of all time. I love that bricky bug. Yeah, I did a playthrough of Heart Gold once, and that was like a key part of the team. It's just so much fun. It just like soaks a hit, throws it out, and that can fill that role. It doesn't make Lanturn as effective though. Like I think Lanturn would then need an adjustment, which I think is fine. I think Skarmory and Lanturn are a good pairing, and I think Fortress you just have to find out what would go well with that as well. Maybe Flygon might, off the top of my head. Levitate to reduce the ground, fire resistance on the dragon. That could work. Flygon and Fortress could be a cool little pair. I've probably missed a glaring weakness and someone's going to go there both 4 times.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if you wanted something to do spikes and something to cover it, there's a few options. So, but it's hard to find something that's as funny as having Skarmory and this quite underused electric fish. Like just
what about Ice Beam on Lanturn? Did you think about that? You mentioned you had some difficulty with like the dragon types.
That's a good point. What, instead of maybe Sleep Talk, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I think you could definitely adjust the squad to do that, because you could take the Chesto and leftovers and swap those. Protect and Rest. You could swap on the Skarmory. And then you could have Ice Beam. You know, that might be it. That might be and that would help with grass coverage as well.
Oh,
a little bit.
Yeah. Not
that I think Lanturn would have to take a huge hit before dealing with it, but yeah, I mean that could work. This is the thing. I'm not really fixed in place with the squad constantly. I like to chop and change. I like to use different things and see different options. So yeah, the Ice Beam would be. It almost sounds, now you've said it, it almost sounds like that could be like a staple move.
Is sleep? How do you get Sleep Talk on the? Is that just like a battle or do you like buy it with battle points? Or?
I think Fortree City. I think there's an old man in Fortree City that is a tutor for it. I think there must be other ways to do it.
Is that like a one time?
Yeah. I think he's got a one time. Yeah, and to be honest, it's not a move you very often go, do you know what? Oh, I need multiple Sleep Talkers on my team.
I'm just thinking, like, is it difficult to get if you want to go back and be like, I kind of like Sleep Talk more, or is it, Ice Beam's just a TM, but like Drill Peck versus Aerial Ace, if you want to get rid of Drill Peck, that's a big decision.
Yeah, that's huge. I don't think it would be. I think the pros outweigh the cons on that one, though. With the Ice Beam, but to be honest with you, you could probably just breed another Lanturn and train it. I don't think that would be that difficult, because it's got, I think mine's got 2 perfect IVs, 3, and if you've already breeding at that level, then you've done most of the hard work, I think. What's mine got? Yeah, 2 perfect IVs and a good HP. You can, and you can get Thunderbolt quite easily. Yeah, I reckon you could probably just train another one, really, if you couldn't. I mean, if it wasn't hard to do. But I think maybe the Battle Frontier has access to quite a few moves like that. Probably for some ungodly amount of battle points, though. But yeah.
So for Snorlax, you mentioned some other Pokemon you're kind of considering before, like Heracross. Is there other Pokemon you're considering in the spot right now? And I'm interested in the Heracross build too. Is that also like an Advent Nature choice band with similar style moves, or what are you thinking about there?
It's almost identical with the moves, which I think is fairly routine for a choice banded Heracross. I think Jolly is speed nature. I think you can mess with the nature a little bit. I can't remember whether mine had a plus speed or a plus attack nature, but it 100% had Mega Horn, Brick Break, I might have had Rock Slide, I might have had Earthquake. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it definitely had Stab, which was really helpful. And I liked it, but it was very frail. If you didn't quite get the KO, you're done for immediately. But then you outsped a lot more. So it was I don't know which was more consistent. I mean, at the end of the day, something that hits hard and maybe can take a hit, Metagross, cough cough, Metagross, would be, peak. I've had the idea of an Aerodactyl for a while because it always messes me up, which must mean that it's okay,
That's
and
how I
they
got the
do hit hard.
Ludicolo.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I need just a Ludicolo splashed at the back. Maybe that's what I need instead. I don't know. I think a physical attacker is needed. How it gets that, I'm not sure. And having something slow like a Snorlax doesn't feel as quote unquote clean uppy as maybe I'd like.
Yeah, in my head, like the way you're describing, the way the team's designed and how you're describing it, like a fast sweeper, physical attacking sweeper is what you need. I mean, I think you already know that, but I think I just want to reiterate that. Snorlax obviously
I think
is
you're
good,
100%
but
right.
it just seems like that's what the
100%.
team might need.
Yeah, it just needs something that can come in and absolutely just bosh through people, which, like, it's easier said than done because everything has its crux. And I don't really know what to go with it. Does a mixed attacker, would that add another angle maybe? Like a Blaziken, which can do a bit of both. Might be an interesting edge to the team. There's a few other ones on there that I was thinking about, like obviously Metagross is really good. Salamence as well. There's a few. I mean, Flygon is one of my
awesome.
all-time. It's one of my all-time favorites. I've got one somewhere, and I think I used it in this team for a little bit, and I changed it, but that was a choice banded Flygon. That was pretty top notch.
I mean, I'm always a Flygon lover.
Yeah, it's just awesome. And I with ZA, I'm a little bit gutted that we haven't got that Mega yet. I'm just give us Mega Flygon.
That's
what
really?
I want. Yeah.
I haven't been keeping up to date in any of that, but I think we got Dragonite, we got Salamence. Flygon's got to get up there as a Mega.
It's got to. If you're gonna give Charizard 2, just give him one of those off. Give it a Flygon. He'll hold the stones. Yeah, the choice banded Flygon is lovely. It's really nice, and it's got access to some cool moves. You still got your Earthquakes and your Rock Slides, and I'm pretty sure with like a decent hidden power as well, you can make it hit very hard. I'm not sure what that would necessarily be, but yeah, I think there's definitely options. But I think we're probably in agreement here that if you're going to swap one bit, it's the Snorlax.
Yeah. At least for this team comp and what it already does with Skarmory and Lanturn. And yes, no, I mean you've gotten, was it you say 49 wins, right? That's still pretty high, but I think if you're facing consistent issues and looking for something to just change around, that's probably the area to look at.
And it is often I'm going, oh, I misplayed, or oh, come on, Snorlax, like we could have done better there. Like very rarely am I going, oh, Skarmory, you just didn't do what I needed you to do.
Yeah, Snorlax is the weak link of the team.
It is. We need to employ someone new to clean up. We need a professional cleaner. That's what we need. I think I might try the Flygon out for a bit.
Especially if it's like one of your favorite Pokemon, like that'd be perfect.
Yeah, and I'm always so funny with things like that where they get so favorite that I don't want to not do it justice, which sounds absolutely mental. But
wait, like you don't want to do it because you don't think you're gonna make it perform. I guess wait, what am I missing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit the heights which it is in my head, and that would be detrimental. There's so many mental acrobatics going on with it. You know, Metagross is the one where I think if you put that in there, I think the gold medal would follow relatively quickly. You know, I'm pretty sure with the Metagross, like you could put anything with that and get silver, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm always so torn with Metagross because I love the Pokemon, and like Choice Band Meteor Mash is just like the most disgusting thing, or one of the most disgusting moves like in the game. But that's like one of my favorite moves too. But it's like I love this Pokemon and that move, but is using it just like it might be in a meta slave. But either way, I love the Pokemon, so I'm going to use it.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and it feels disgusting. And when you get that, you know, you use Meteor Mash and you get the boost like immediately.
Yes.
You're like, well, that's you've just lost. I've won. You know.
Yeah, it's like a high though when I get the attack boost on the Meteor Mash. Give me another hit.
I had a set with Aerodactyl on I think Showdown that had Ancient Power. And getting the boost on that is the best feeling in the world. You see all the pluses happen. You think it's game. It's game. I'm quicker and I hit harder than everything. They need to bottle that. They need to bottle that feeling of getting the 10% boost. That's the best thing in the world.
I know.
Slacking would work as well, by the way. Slacking would work in this team. But then you're playing with Truant. Do you want to play with Truant? I'm not huge on it.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to do that to myself. I know it hits hard, but I like having turns.
Yes. And I think Tyranitar as well, technically speaking, could work, but it's just not quick. But it would definitely be able to soak the hits. But if you're going to pseudo territory, I still think Metagross is probably, you know, if you're going down that route, I think, you know, having Metagross that can be really, really quite quick as well is probably where it is. I think this has just been 10 minutes of us saying Metagross is probably a good idea.
Is there anything else we want to chat about the team? Should we move into the second half of the video? I mean, definitely feel free. We could talk like more about this, but
I think that's probably all of it. The strengths are there, the weaknesses are there. My dislike for Magneton is there, and the glaring omission of Metagross is there. I think that's pretty much it. You know?
So what you need is Metagross. Now, I think trying the Flygon would be a lot of fun, but yeah, I think objectively probably Metagross is a Pokemon, or even Salamence probably the Pokemon to have here, but at the same time, yeah, it's not like you have to do that.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe in 6 months' time, we'll touch base on this. I'll run it for 6 months, and then hopefully there'll be a video where, look, I put Metagross in the team. I've got all the medals now in gold. It's great.
Every medal.
We'll have the update. I don't know how I managed to get it in the Pike, but it worked.
No, you can't poison Skarmory or Metagross.
That's true.
Easy.
This is it. I think that Pike is the only. I've got 2 gold medals total across like my life. I start saves, and this is my issue. As a kid, I shouldn't have got rid of one of my saves which had the gold on it, but I had Pike and Factory. They're the two that I managed to get. But yeah, the tower eludes me, and that's the one I want the most.
It's difficult.
70 in a row is mad, really, if you think about it.
The Factory's been giving me a lot of trouble. I can't separate my mind in saying this is the better Pokemon to pick for this team. Pick it. I see Steelix, I see Aggron, or any other Pokemon. I'm like, I gotta pick that one, and the team just becomes my favorite Pokemon, which all have the same weaknesses, and then I get swamped. So I gotta learn. But
you get the
it's the big
earthquake. One quick earthquaker and it all falls apart.
I'm like, dude, my team is sick. I got Metagross, Skarmory, and Steelix. And then like 2 rounds later, I die because of one move.
The Arcanine shows up. The overheat white herb Arcanine. No!
Disgusting. All right, so let's move into the second half where we just ask each other some questions and other random things about either Pokemon or other fun things. But I like to ask a question to everybody, pick everybody's brain because everybody knows something that me and maybe other people don't. So I guess, what have you learned in Pokemon that you kind of want to share as maybe advice for other people who either want to get into the Battle Frontier or already are in it and maybe need some more either motivation or words of wisdom?
I think I can probably offer more motivation than wisdom on it. So I'll go that route with that.
Same thing.
Yeah, I think everyone has their peaks and their troughs with their interest in Pokemon. Like, I very much have been in the camp where I remember when Black and White 2 came out and I wasn't all that fussed and I lost a lot of interest. And then Alpha Sapphire came out and I had massive interest again. I think staying motivated, and I never knew why I didn't really like it, but I think it's finding the fun in the game is so important. Like, if you are sick of the main story bit or you're sick of this certain aspect of the game, most of the time it's not the entire thing that's not the entire content in the game. And I think to stay motivated and enjoy the games and really become that, like, a Pokemon master, if you will, that you want to be, you've just got to find the joy in all of it, like, and just find the bit that you love doing, which, if that's the frontier, great. It's incredibly grindy, but it's so satisfying when you get it right. And I think the way that I do that is probably through playing the game with the team that you like, which I think is where Lanturn comes into it for me. I think this team epitomizes exactly what I like about Pokemon, which is picking the dude that you like and winning with it is so much more fun to me than picking something that the internet likes and winning with it. I cannot stress that enough.
It's such a
I did a Delibird run once. Yeah, I did. I think I did Delibird in the. I wanted to get Present to get one. I wanted to get 3 wins with the move Present because it's obviously dreadful, but it can roll like a double-edged amount of power 10% of the time. So I just started playing with Delibird. There's a video on my TikTok somewhere of me doing it as like a Christmas special when I first kicked off. Of seeing how many wins I could get with Delibird, and I barely got any, but I had so much fun because it was just ridiculous, and I had an idea, and I went and did the idea. I cannot stress how little fun I have going, oh, the internet told me that, like, the best ever Pokemon team for the tower is these 3 with these movesets in this order, and you win every time. I just, I can see why people lose interest at that point, I know that you're an advocate for that.
Like, yeah, it's like such a peak, in my head, Gen 3 Battle Frontier is like the pinnacle of like the game, and there's so much to dive into, and to just, I mean, again, if you just want the medal for the sake of getting a symbol, you get the symbol, yeah, it's fine, but like if you want to enjoy it and to be able to get to that part of the game and to experience it a certain way, I think is like what the game is almost about. Maybe it's just rambling about my thoughts about it, but anyway, that's just where my head's at. It seems a lot more fun.
I'm in the exact same camp as you. Like, I really am. And if you enjoy like just grinding so you can win, then I'm sure, like, and that's completely fine. Like, I could totally get going online and finding a team that allows you to win as much as possible. Like, fair enough. Like, that's so cool. But I think if you're losing motivation and that's your strategy to enjoy Pokemon, I'd, take a step back and think, like, what is the bit I love about this game? Like, what do I love about it? Because there must be a reason. If it feels monotonous, it's because you're probably doing something monotonous. So, that's where my head's at with it. I can imagine the highs of getting a gold medal with like a Grumpig outweigh the highs of getting a gold medal with a the best possible team. I can 100% guarantee that.
Not to spoil anything, but I'm actually chatting with somebody again today who's using a Grumpig. So I'm very excited.
No way.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
That's
anything,
amazing.
but
That's so cool. I love Grumpig. Grumpig is just so funny. Such a humorous little dude.
Grumpig and Granbull to me are the same Pokemon. Like my brain just is like they're the same thing. I can't get it out of my head.
The pink and the GR at the start. That's it.
All right, so I got another question. You mentioned earlier Pokemon memory that you had, but I'm wondering do you remember the earliest Pokemon memory you've had? I guess it could be the games or the show, cards.
Yeah, I've got two or three in my head where like they're around the same time and they're all kind of related to different bits. Number one was getting Pokemon Sapphire. I touched on it earlier. I went on a road trip with my grandparents, and we went somewhere in the UK called Chester, which I can't remember anything about, but I remember walking into Toys R Us, and as you go through the door, there's almost like, I guess, like an airlocky type thing. You know, like you've got one set of doors and another set of doors, so the whole door, so the place doesn't get cold, right? And in there was this massive billboard, and it was for Ruby and Sapphire, which had just all the promotion for it. And literally, they were like, "You can get something from Toys R Us." You know, this was a huge deal. Like, I think it must have been quite a long journey, and they must have been like, "Let's get this, 6, 7-year-old to be quiet for the entirety of it or something." And me and my sister were like, "Well, let's get a game. We can get one each." So she went and bought this Tetris-y type Game Boy game. It wasn't Tetris, but it was like a pirate. I'll try and find out what it's called at some point, but that's not the important bit. The important bit was that I immediately, the first thing I saw before I'd even got through the main door was Sapphire. I grabbed it immediately, and it was so good. I picked Trico, and I didn't know how to name it, so it's named was 3 capital letter A's. That's
Wait, that's such like a memory for like me too.
Yeah, just named it So I had the Trico, and I didn't know how to because at that age I was just smashing the A button. I wasn't even reading what to do. It took me about a week before I learned that I could catch Pokemon. So I played up to Brawly without any other Pokemon apart from this Grovyle called Air. And when I discovered that, that's where I was like, this is the best thing I've ever played in my entire life. And I've been hooked since, absolutely hooked since. I had another memory of Pokemon cards. This was slightly down the line, where it must have been the Delta Species set where the Pokemon had different types, maybe. Awesome set. And someone at my school was bragging massively because he'd just got this Salamence, this Fire Delta Species Salamence EX card, or maybe even it might not have been the EX. It was this awesome looking Salamence though, it was a 3D render of it flying across a farm. It was cool, right? And having that was cool. It was bragging to everyone about it, I've got this card, you guys don't have anything, I've got this. And that night, I remember on the way home, I was speaking to my granddad about it, and he was like, "Well, that's okay. We'll just go and get one. We'll get one at some point. That's fine. That's how it works." Teaching a child that, I was like, we went into Woolworths, which, if you live in England and Britain, is a little sort of we sell anything shop. Not a massive store, a little high street. And I bought one pack, and in that pack was that Salamence card.
Wow,
it was,
that's fate.
It was even better because it was on the school home. We're walking home, so all the school kids are leaving. And as I walked out the shop with it, the kid who was bragging was on the other side of the street, and I remember shouting across at me "Look what I got! Look what I got!" And it was a really satisfying moment. It was a satisfying moment of.
Mm-hmm.
Just justice, Pokemon justice. So good.
The odds of that are so whoa, you know, like
The
that is
fact
like
is,
my fake fate.
mental. And there, I could have picked a different set. I didn't even know what set that Salamence was from. Like, you know, at that age, you just go to the shop and the cards might change, but you know the Pokemon cards. You know, God, so cool, so cool. And I just since then I've loved it. I'm not huge on the cards now because they are just financially crazy, but I still love a good artwork. And still this day, that's probably my favorite Pokemon card ever. Is that Salamence Delta Species, but purely because of that story.
I gotta look this up again. Let's see deltas.
Yeah.
I think I remember
I
what it
can,
looks like, but yeah, this is it. I'll link it real quick.
yeah, it's the
That's a
red
cool
one, the
card.
red steel one. Let's have a look. Is it is this the one?
Yeah, it's just a hollow.
It's just a hollow. Yeah, it's not even, you know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
all these years later, it's like a
It's a
fiver.
cool card. Oh,
But yeah, and I remember, but it like I remember the glow on it. So cool. I don't know where mine is, but I might go and invest in that again. And you know, at the time, Salamence was like, "Oh my word, you got Salamence! Like, how did you even get like a Bagon? You know, yeah. Where did you discover that you could catch this? I've got a Meteor Force for hours. I've not found one. You know, it was a really key moment of my life there. Just so many factors, and then to get it in my hand, God, not even an EX, just a 110 Salamence.
I have like not quite to that scale, but like a similar memory of in a Toys R Us. Like I was leaving with my grandpa, and this like kid flashed. Like he was just standing somewhere. He flashed his Exodia head, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's got Exodia!" And then I left. Like it wasn't like that big of a thing, but it's like ingrained in my memory of leaving this Toys R Us and this little kid flashing his Exodia head, like showing off. Just like he knew and I knew
Oh,
it was cool. I don't.
like that's like the Exodia hype was so cool. I had the right leg as a kid, and I thought that was. And then a kid who I went to school with's dad, who you know, this must have been quite rich parents or something like that, or maybe they weren't. They were just cards. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they weren't rich, but he bought him all the pieces on eBay. So he came into school with a tin of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You know, you could buy like the booster tins, the steel ones, and he had that with, and he made it so it was like a lanyard, and it all
Flexing.
the pieces of Exodia, and everyone went nuts. It was that must have been I must have been year one, year two. So you know, just like you Americanized that, like second grade or something like that. It was just mental. Looking back, it's walking around with like 5 pieces of cardboard.
We got to bring back that level of swag or whatever you want to call it, that fit.
Yeah, it's the drippiest fit. Walking around with the Exodia around your neck, but in a tin, not on show, just in a tin. What about you? If you got like, if I can ask you a question here,
Yeah, yeah.
have you got like a random Pokemon moment? Like it doesn't have to be outstanding, but you know, you get those sort of like, oh, I can vividly remember doing that thing in Pokemon when I was younger that like sticks in your head. It might not have even been particularly poignant, but have you got something that you're like, I've never shaken that one random memory of Pokemon? You might know why you haven't, you might not know. Is there one that you're like, whoa, why do I still remember that random thing? And I can tell you where I was and what I was doing. Like,
Hmm. I feel like there's probably better example or better thoughts here, but the one that I'm just thinking about right now was there's like I said, there's a memory, but then there's a specific memory about that. So in the Fire Red, that was my first game. I would always get to Cerulean City and never be able to get past that because I didn't understand what to do. So like in Bill's house, he says to go to the PC to whatever, you know. So in my head, I didn't know PC is personal computer. I thought PC was Pokemon Center. So I would always do that, run to the Pokemon Center, and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. So the first like year of me, probably 2 years of me playing the game, I would just get to Cerulean City. I'd have like a level 40 Charizard, and then I'd restart the game, and that just whatever. So like that was my maybe younger stupidity. but I remember
It
I
makes
was
sense
in.
though.
It does. Like I didn't know PC meant personal computer, and it's pretty obvious when you're looking at the building now. But like the room, there's only one thing to do. But anyway, but so I remember, and I was a pretty shy kid. I mean, still kind of am now, but I didn't want to ask people because I felt like stupid. So, but anyway, I was in my parents' car, and my one friend was with me. I think my sister was like in like the other seat too, so he was like in the middle or something. Anyway, and I'm playing the game, and I just finally had the courage to ask, like, "Hey, like, I'm at this point in the game, I don't know what to do." And he just grabbed the game and he like talked to the computer, and then like, "Oh, you do this," and he's like, "Oh, then it opens up this part of the map," and like he showed me, like, after you do that, then you can go to like that part by right above the gym, and you can finally go to that way. And I remember that feeling of being like, there's so much more to this game that I haven't even touched yet. And I don't know, it was just like an enlightening moment. Like, this is all I
Yeah.
had to do in the game, and I've been struggling for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Oh,
remember
I love
exactly where I
that.
was at that time.
I love that. I had a super similar moment with that as a kid with in Emerald you have to give Steven's letter, I think,
In Slateport City,
to
that one.
in Slayport, yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
so
like he's
hard.
kind of a random NPC, right? He's kind of just in the, you know, he's in the shipyard, Captain Stern or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a particularly outstanding model. It's just, you know, so, and I was a kid who I just want to play the game, so I just ran around not doing anything. So the only way I ever got past that, or past the blocked top bit of Slateport, was because my sister was the opposite. She would like collect all the items and talk to everyone and, you know, do all the fetch quests. And then one day I turned my game on and they were gone. And for a while I thought that it was just, I just had to wait. I didn't even realize she'd done that. But then the next time I played it, I actually was reading through it, you know. And I was like, oh, you just have to talk to that one guy. Like, I just didn't even care enough to talk to the NPC characters. I just never got past it until one day I turned on my game and it was done. And I was like, oh, great. I must have waited enough days for that to happen.
Giving him the letter in Slateport City was tough, even as a kid. Even now, like, I just forget where the dude is. Like, that is not that. I mean, I guess it's easy now when you think about it, but it was definitely, that's a challenging part.
And you can't go back and find out because Steven flies away. You know, he tells you to do that in Granite Cave. He's like, oh, I've gone. So it's not like you can go back and be like, what was that instruction again? What was that instruction? I guess you can open the key item, but, you know, like, it's not like, oh, you got to go up there and talk to that man. It was nowhere near as simple as that. And the shipyard doesn't even look like a shipyard, you know?
No, it doesn't. It's like one building and like a broken boat outside, not even like on a dock.
And you're in a sailing town. There's boats everywhere. You know, there's shipping boats everywhere. It's a sailing town. Who says that's the thing? I shouldn't get that heated about it, but it's just.
I remember one time in Fire Red, like Rock Tunnel. I remember getting lost in Rock Tunnel for, I'm not even kidding, probably hours, and I was like, I'm just gonna start a new game. Like, I just couldn't do it. This is before like the internet. I didn't have a guide. I remember just restarting the game. Like, it's stupid because like just bring an escape rope. Like, I should have done that. But
you don't think of that though, do you? You don't think of that contingency. And it's almost like, you know, when you don't learn about the game, so you don't use anything but attacking moves for like the first part you play it, and then it takes you ages to get out that habit where you're like, why are there so many of these status moves that are useless? Like, what does double team even do, you know?
Now double team ruins my life in the Battlefront.
Yes, that's exactly it.
All right, I got one more question. Then, if you want to ask me some other random stuff, that's fine. So, for your Pokemon games, what are you looking at right now? I think you got ZA, right? But is that gonna be your main focus? Or are you going back to the Battle Frontier? What's your plans?
I'm kind of like, from like, you know, Macho Brace content man, very ZA focused, but it's, you know, and I have enjoyed it, and I do think it's decent. It's a decent game. I've enjoyed playing through it, and I like the new updated battle mechanic more than I thought I would, because I'm very locked into tradition with Pokemon. which is probably why I always come back to Gen 3 and 4 and maybe 5. I very rarely dabble in. I can't remember the last time I picked up something like X and Y. I can't even remember that. So I'm always, when the new game comes out, like I wanted to do it for the channel, and then I ended up really enjoying it. So I'm trying to open myself up to some of the later games at the moment. I'm always dabbling with the Frontier. Like I try and take my SP with me if I'm kind of doing something like going on a train journey or going on holiday somewhere, or if I've got something long, I like to have my SP so I can just have a little grind of the Frontier, and do less so for, like, I try and do most of it at home really, but if I'm like kind of team building, I'll write down like Snorlax is rubbish, or I'll, I'll go, why haven't you got Metagross in the team? Things like that. But I've had a real craving recently, to play Alpha Sapphire, which is strange because I always go to Emerald. Yeah, Alpha Sapphire. Like, I had the Steelbook version when that came out, and I haven't played it for. I can't even remember the last time I played that game, and I loved it. I loved the art style. I loved the mechanics. I loved the little Dex nav where you could get sort of like rarer things. I did loads of shiny hunting in it. I had a shiny Zigzagoon in that. Like, I loved that game. So I think from a casual perspective, I think I'm going to do a nice little run through of Alpha Sapphire.
Nice.
Maybe. Yeah. What about you? Are you have you got anything on the radar at the moment outside the Frontier?
I have way too much. I mean, I got like, so every like thought is just a video idea too. But I'm trying to get my second shiny. So Gen 4 just on my head. Trying to get, I need 2 more shinies for the Battle Frontier, and then gonna start that. Gen 5. I'm actually playing through Gen 5. I'm not really posting videos about it. I'm just enjoying the game, and I'll post about it eventually. But I'm just when you make videos, sometimes it's just nice to. I'm just gonna play this because I want to play it. Yeah. I got so much random stuff for Gen 3. I don't know. I want to get another shiny Rayquaza. I think I just uploaded a video, should be going out like today. I still want to get like the what do you call it, gold symbols. And I got a whole bunch of list of Pokemon I want to train for just no reason, but yeah, I'm sticking between those 3 games for right now.
Yeah, I get that, and I think that's nice. They're like 3. The thing I like about them is they're quite similar in obviously gameplay practice, but they're also independent. Like Emerald is miles away from Black and White, which is miles away from say like Platinum or Diamond or something. Like, and they're like even like the Johto ones are so different again. It's funny you mentioned the shiny Rayquaza, actually. Rayquaza, whatever. I did a video on my channel. It's on my members only, but you had to be able to challenge a gym, you had to release a shiny Pokemon. And it took me months to record and do, but it's just been like a little side background project. And the last thing I caught and released in that was shiny Rayquaza.
Wait, is this legit? Like
legit? Yeah, legit. I started.
Why would you release that?
I released 7 shinies in that. It took me forever to record that. Forever. When we first started emailing about coming to do this, I spent during that like month period, I spent ages doing shiny Magikarp. It took me weeks, absolutely weeks.
How do you mentally release a shiny and then go to sleep at night?
It was very tough. It was very tough. And then, like, from a performance standard, the video didn't actually do that well. And I was like, I should have really kept hold of all of those. I think I released a shiny Shedinja, Ninjask, Geodude, Rayquaza, Magikarp. What were the other ones? There were some really horrible ones. Slugma.
Slugma's a cool one too.
Yeah, it was cool. I wanted the Skarmory, but I didn't get it. Although I said I think in the video I said I was like, if I released Shiny Skarmory, that would have killed me. That would have killed me off like completely. But yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough when it didn't perform as well. And I thought, you know what? Like that's karma. That's karma for me doing that.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
No, I don't think you would. I wouldn't advise it. My question is, and I think, I thought long and hard about this. I was like, I've got the opportunity to ask you a question. So, and I was like, do I make it hyper specific or do I make it like general? But this might be specific, right? And you might have an instant answer or 100 answers or no answers, and that's fine.
Exciting.
There was one Pokemon or Pokemon set that you could remove the AI from having in the frontier. What would it be?
One Pokemon or one Pokemon set?
One Pokemon set. So let's say you never have to come up against it again in the frontier. It's gone forever. What would you pick? What's one of the ones you're thinking about?
Ludicolo comes to mind because, like, I just don't like that Pokemon at all. But you can defeat it. You can get around it. Kingdra and Suicune are probably on that list. I'm just trying to think, like, the builds that I have and Pokemon that I want to use, what makes it impossible for me to have fun. Probably
Kingdra is definitely up there. Rest Kingdra is up there.
It's so annoying, and it doesn't die. Probably Kingdra, or let's see. Yeah, I'm trying. Probably Kingdra or Suicune, and if I had to pick one, probably Kingdra because I'm less likely to run into Suicune. And if we run into Suicune, we just lose anyway, But like we're probably gonna run into multiple Kingdras.
Yeah.
What about you? Where's your head at?
There is one, and it doesn't particularly like. You might have run into it a few times, maybe. It doesn't. It always causes issues for me, even though I feel like I probably could get rid of it. And it might be because I'm using Toxic. There's a Gardevoir, one set of Gardevoir that is Calm Mind and Double Team, right? So it just bulks up and avoids you. But if you use Toxic, it's got Synchronize as its ability. So you get Toxic as well. It's so annoying. It's maybe the most annoying thing I've ever encountered in my life because you think you've got it. You think you got it, but you don't. You don't got it. You're gone. And it's really strong now. That's probably my pick. That's probably my pick, maybe.
Now I'm thinking about it too. Jinx, the lovely Kiss Jinx, very annoying. Like, it's just disgusting. And then what's that other one? The Fisher Wishcash. I don't know what's up with that Pokemon, but there's definitely 3 separate instances where I've faced that Pokemon and it just hits Fisher every time. It's 100% accuracy on Wishcash, so it must be stopped at all costs. I don't understand.
That Wishcash is going above and beyond.
Yeah.
I think there's a Nidoking with Fisher as well, and Poison. That's annoying. And it will hit it. It's not a chance. It's 100% Poison Point, 100% Fisher. You're done. Get out.
Yeah, for me, probably Kingdra. I think it's too strong.
Consistently annoying. Recovery. Can hit hard. No real weakness, to be honest.
It's got one weakness, and it's not even like a weakness. It's more like a strength.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it wants you to go into a dragon Pokemon, so get Ice Beam.
Yeah, it's so gnarly. So gnarly. And even in the game, I think in Emerald, Juan's Kingdra, that's gnarly. Like, even just for like a random, like, I know the gym leader sets are kind of thought out, but his is pretty brutal as well. I think it's Double Team on that as well. It's really horrible.
The Kingdra gets everything.
Double Team and Rest. Yeah, I think he's got Double Team, Rest. I don't know if it's Ice Beam or Water Pulse. It's got some horrible moves on it. And it just doesn't die. You just can't get rid of it easily. It's like I've done a few Nuzlockes of Emerald, And that is always one that I have to sit down for an hour and go, right, how do I not lose the run right now?
I'm also thinking like get my low tick and getting back to Suicune, but at least those have multiple weaknesses, like that are, you could put those on other Pokemon, but the dragon weakness is just tough.
Yeah, you really have to have dragon as a coverage move, and no one really runs dragon as a coverage move. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I usually don't.
I'm not going, oh, I really need to stick dragon claw just in case. Let's get Twister in there just in case I need to get that Kingdra comes up.
I do have some questions for you. I mean, if you got some for me, definitely feel free. But I got some for you if you don't have any.
Yeah, no, shoot for it. I'm sure if some come to me, I'll just wait and then stick them in there, mate. No pressure.
I want to hear about your, I guess, YouTube experience. What got you started into making Pokemon content?
I have two people who sort of maybe two or three people who sort of inspired the idea of it. So initially I was getting back into Pokemon quite a lot. I'm actually a massive like football manager nerd. Hugely, many years, always wanted to do YouTube with that, but it's very time consuming simulation game, and it looks like Microsoft Excel, so it's not like the most engaging content. And there are people who make incredibly engaging content for it, but I just couldn't do it. And then I had the idea of playing through Heart Gold. I thought, well, I might as well record it, like I might as well stick that down. And at the same time, I watched a lot of YouTubers like yourself, doing like the frontier stuff, which I was really interested in. Droomish. I watched a lot of Droomish's stuff, which is, really interesting, introspective, sort of like video essay type things on Pokemon, which is exactly what I'm like into. I love just talking about the Pokemon games, especially those Gen 3 to 5 era. And also there's some Battle Frontier content that they've been doing. And then I also got into looking at a bit more competitive Pokemon with Jimothy Cool, who does some excellent stuff, well researched. And I think it was a bit of an amalgamation of that. And I've always watched Nuzlocke from a variety of, there's a load of people that do great Nuzlocke content of different types, like Flygon HG and Antlerboy Live.
Oh my gosh. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Would you just say Flygon HD?
Flygon HG.
HG.
Yeah.
I don't think, I used to watch this dude all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
He does some great stuff.
You just brought back a memory that it escaped me for a while.
And he's doing really well. Like his content's flying. And it's all type based Nuzlocke, which I'm getting more into as time's gone on. But yeah, he's doing some excellent stuff. And there's loads of good Nuzlockers. And I think the Pokemon sphere at the moment is really interesting because you got a lot of people doing a lot of different things. And I just wanted to be a part of it. I know it's a really long way of talking about why I got into YouTube, but I wanted to be a part of it. And I was heavily inspired by your stuff, which is why this is that I'm here now. And a lot about Droomish, and quite a bit about Jimothy Cool as well. Like they're the three. And also there's a hilarious guy called Jarv on Instagram who does Pokemon card art reviews. So he ranks Pokemon cards based on how they look. And that was really, his stuff's really good. So I was seeing all this stuff in the sphere and was like, can I add to this? Can I put anything more on? So I just gave it a go. I just started off with Battle Frontier stuff, and then I did that short form Nuzlocke where you release your team after every gym and see if you can still beat the game. So, if you use Marill in the first gym, you can't use it again for the rest of the game. And that's so interesting for team building. You end up using 45 different Pokemon or whatever throughout that run. It's so much fun. yeah, I really got into it because I just thought I had something to add to the sphere, and it's gone way further than I thought it would. To be
Yes.
honest with you,
So in like a year, like you're at, I mean, you made consistently, your videos are getting like over, as of right now, somewhere between 15 and like 50K views, which is pretty incredible. And your channel is over 10K in under a year. Yeah, so what do you think?
it's just been
What do you
it's been
think
a
the
journey.
success of that is from? I mean, obviously, you're obviously doing something right with the content or like the marketing aspect of like the
Mhm.
videos, but I'm trying to curious, why do you think that success is? Like, what do you think that's from?
Um, so as a job, I'm a primary school teacher. Um, so I work with kids a lot, um, and I think it's sort of a double edged sword where children's attention spans are going down. General public attention spans are going down, and I feel like because of that, people want everything now. Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
If
instant
everyone wants,
gratification. Yep.
yeah. So I kind of, despite that being terrible, I sort of try and take a little bit of that into my content. Like being able to watch someone play through the entirety of a new game in 35 minutes, in a way, is instant gratification. Do you know what I mean? You watching like 25 hours of gameplay slammed into like half an hour.
In a way, that's like the best of both worlds because you're kind of giving, like, yeah, all the really highlights of like a full thing, but you're still getting that, I'd say, long form content where you're almost, I mean, yeah, I guess your videos aren't quite 30 minutes, but it's, they're roughly, it's still long form, anything probably more than like 15
Yeah,
minutes nowadays.
it's all up and around those areas, and so that's one of the like kind of ideas I had, and I just wanted to see whether that would work. That's why I started off doing shorts, which kind of inspired it because you have to get quite a lot into a minute if you want, to people to grab onto it and not go away. So it all started with me being passionate about something and wanting to build something that people could click and have a finished product on, like quote unquote finished. All products are finished, but I meant like from a game perspective, which people have done before. That's not like new or anything like that. But when you've grown up watching playthroughs, this is episode 19 of my Pokemon Platinum playthrough or something. It's a very different style of content.
It's such a
Um,
different world now, like in the
so
content creation side.
it's the amount of effort you behind the scenes. I think that, like, I'm sure you feel this as well, where it's not seen how much, like, the brainstorming, the ideas, the culling of whether that's a good idea or not, deciding what you're going to do, filming it, editing it, polishing it.
It's definitely a lot more than meets the eye. I think to make it fit my lifestyle, I'm gonna say cut corners, but I find what is important for me, and I just stick to that. Like there is probably a lot of these other things I could be doing to make the video or like maybe viewer experience a little bit better, but it's gonna require me a lot more time, and I just want to. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to add enough value, anything in my life and the videos that I'm making
Mm.
to justify the time it's going to take to, I guess, do that. But again, that's just me and my personal preference.
No, I'm totally with you on it. It's about finding what works, I think, and finding what your audience wants. Like, it's and you go through pits and troughs. Even in this short space of time I've been on there, I've had stuff do like incredibly well, and I've had stuff not do anywhere near that level. And it's all that you just have to teach it as a learning experience. And at the end of the day, I love making content, and I didn't think I would as much as I do. I thought it would turn into a chore much quicker, and it hasn't at all, which is strange because normally I flip between passion projects and hobbies all the time, but with this I seem to have stuck it out. Like, I don't know if you're the same, where you've got like an entire bank of ideas in your head and you kind of like filter through them. You're like, well, what's the next one going to be, and
I get the
what
whole
are people
thing.
going to enjoy?
I think I have a
I go
total of
through.
50 video ideas. I think if I'm quickly glancing at this.
That's insane. I love that. I love that. And I love the creative side of it, like how you can make something your own spin. Like that to me is where it all sits. And having a ridiculous idea, like I've got a Nuzlocke where you just use Bidoof, but they all have random movesets and abilities, and you just see if you can beat
Sounds
Platinum with
awful.
that. It was I was just having a shower, and I thought of it, and I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. No one will want to watch that. And I was like, well, actually, no, maybe I'll give that a go. And I played it, and it's the most fun I've ever had playing Pokemon in a modern day. It was the most ridiculous thing in the world. Finding a Bidoof with Wonder Guard is such a hilarious.
Wait, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been a bit of a whirlwind, the entire thing. My target by the end of the year was to have 1,000 when I set it in January.
That's crazy.
I wanted 1,000. I thought if I got about 3 subs a day from January 1st to December, I'll be pleased. So I'm already at a point where I think the gratification is so high, and so thankful to everyone who's like supported it, and like even other content creators who speak to me like yourself. Like I'm in dreamland constantly, because I didn't think people would be that interested, but apparently they are interested, which is nice. I was going to say, if anyone's interested in getting into it, just go for it. I don't know whether you're in that boat as well. Like, you can spend a million years thinking about doing content and not doing it. Like, realistically, I could have started this 5 years ago, because that's when I first had the thought of it. But now it's going, well, you wonder where in 5 years extra experience and extra time just doing it would be.
Yeah, I'd say just get it done, or just do it. I'm not trying to. I don't want to plug too much of myself here, but I'm starting a new channel slowly where I want to show people the behind the scene content creation side, to show people that I feel like people maybe hype it up or spend too much time on things that maybe I guess aren't needed. So showing how to actually do it and embed it in your life, I think would be kind of cool. But anyway, that's a thing that's kind of coming in the future. Just I know people want to share things, and I think once they realize this is how you do it, this is how to make it achievable, I think it makes for a whole better space on YouTube, especially like in this maybe more niche Pokemon space. So anyway,
100%. I think that's a great idea, and I think it will probably lead to people taking that step.
Which is the whole point.
The idea is that you're doing something, you film it, and you press upload. In principle, that's kind of it. Yes, you can polish it, and there are content creators out there who do some astronomical time-consuming things to make the level of polish go from 98 to 100%. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to. If you've got something that you want to share and you think people are going to enjoy it, just do it. Just go for it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Sorry, that just reminded me of a question there to ask you, actually. Where did what made you start, really? Like, what was the thing that made you go, yeah, I want to do this?
I made videos like when I was a kid, like just I don't know what I liked about it. I just liked I like the idea you can capture something in like time, if that makes sense. I think that's what, as a kid. So I would make Lego movies on like a video recorder, and like stop motion Lego videos in like elementary school. And then I even I like making like websites and stuff too, like on Word documents. Anyway, like just random stuff like that. I just like the idea of like capturing, I think, videos or capturing something in time and sharing it. And then fast forward to, what is it, like maybe 2007, like I was actually watching like Lego stop motion videos like on YouTube. Like when, I don't even know how I found YouTube, but eventually I looked up Lego videos, like pizza movies was a huge inspiration. So I guess from like a personal point of view, yeah, something about videos always is cool. And then I was in like middle school watching Call of Duty YouTubers and even like just Pokemon Let's Players, like Chugga Conroy. I don't know if he was a huge one. Just I love the
Yeah.
idea that you can again capture something in time, share an experience, and let others like go along the adventure with you. So that like whether it was Call of Duty or Pokemon, Legos, it's an awesome, I guess, format to share something. So and then YouTube has the platform to do that, and people can engage directly with the creator. That like it's like better than a movie because you can't really talk to the director or actors of a movie. You just but in the comments section you go right there, and it's, to me YouTube and videos was like the perfect thing I was looking for to share experiences and then directly engage with people. So yeah, been doing it for a while, but no one really watched my videos till like maybe a couple years ago, and now this is like the perfect channel to, yeah, that's where I guess I
Yeah.
kind of started. But
And I think I feel like that's kind of like the way you think about it, isn't it? Where you get inspired by other people and then you go, yeah, I want to do that. I think everyone does that a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always a bit of that. The Chugga Conroy stuff is so true as well. Like that era of YouTube was just like so different to now, but so good. Like
I
so
can't even
much fun.
like think about like just watching a video, just somebody just playing through the whole game. Like every episode's like 30 minutes long, and you're just, I don't know, it's just so different than now. Like I just don't think you'd, I don't know. It's just weird to think about. It's just a completely different time of, yeah, again, content creation.
And it upsets me a little bit that I didn't start in this era. You know, like Chugga Conroy, for example. You know, he could upload like play platinum, for example. You know, it must be like like hundreds of videos that he did on just playing through that game. Whereas like now the YouTube sphere is very much like you're playing platinum and you don't have, you don't have 400 hours worth of footage put together. You've got to do that in 30 minutes. You know, you've got to get everything you want to say in that time. And there's a little part of me that thinks I could slow it down, my content, but I've currently got this momentum in this style that I feel like I need to continue. You know, maybe to be honest, maybe I should stream some stuff a little bit more if my Wi-Fi would let me, because I would love to have that experience still. Like your live streams of when you were doing, was it Colosseum or XD, where you're doing the
Just put a camera.
like yeah, but like I loved watching it in play. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
nice to see that experience come together. Like
When here's
it's
a
just
funny
so
thing.
Go on.
I have all this gear, so I have a specific capture card and like cables to connect my GameCube to my computer so I can record the TV. But I just didn't do it. I just put the camera at the screen.
But it
But
works.
it's not because
So
I guess maybe a little part of being lazy, but it's also that's how I want somebody else. I want them to feel like they're sitting right next to me, you know. So
yeah.
it's like the best of both worlds. I don't need to go through all this setting up things, like to get on the computer. It helps the viewer and it helps me. So that's how I think about it. Maybe people
And
think
it
I'm
does
lazy.
feel like you're there. It does feel like you're there. It really does. And I feel like for me personally, it captures a sensation that I, had, in the mid noughties, sat in front of my, CRT, watching, like someone playing through a game. Like I remember watching my friend play through Pikmin, and getting to like the last day in Pikmin and never being able to take on the last part of that game. But that's so nostalgic, that era, and I love it for it. And yeah, you're right. You could just plug all the cables in and stream, but it doesn't give the same effect.
Yeah, I think it fits the vibe of the channel, but I don't know how many people would get away with just shoving a garbage webcam at a TV.
But I don't know what you've done. Maybe you've created one hell of a niche there that people love.
It fits me. It fits me.
Yeah, I wish that I had that. I could do that. I wish I could do that.
I guess on your current channel it would not work, but could always bring audiences over.
Yeah, and it's really nice talking to you about like content and stuff, because we both do Pokemon, and we both done Gen 3 Pokemon, but it's presented in two different ways. Like, and I love that. Like, and I love watching your content because I'm so chilled out And like we're talking, I'm listening to you talk about like different builds that you're going to do, and like is Dusclops going to be in this team, and and that's like I feel like there's an area where I'm like jealous that I can't have that chill vibe with it, and mine is like super like today we're doing Jack, like like
I mean, you could,
the
yeah, but
shop.
you just have to make 2 channels, or I'd probably make 2 channels at that point. Different
Maybe
audiences, same niche or similar
I need
niche.
Macho Brace and then like Calm Brace, or like
Macho.
Soothe Bell. Maybe that's what I call it. Like channel Soothe Bell.
That could work.
Something really, really chilled out. Yeah. But yeah,
So
that's yeah.
how do you like your can I beat like this the game and whatever? How do you get the content for that? Do you actually play through the game for that many hours? And I can't see myself making that type of video. So how do you do that?
So for me personally, I have like a little notebook that I write down like sort of Nuzlocke or playthrough ideas. And I tried very hard for a long time not to sort of stand on anyone's toes, if that makes sense. Because obviously, like, people have done lots of content for a long time with playing through games, and I didn't want to try and do anything that was already done, and initially anyway. There must be like 4,000 playing through Fire Red with just fire types. There must be like a bazillion of those videos out there. And I bet like they're excellent. But when I started, I thought I want to try and do something that maybe someone hasn't done. So I'll write it down in my notebook. And then if I don't cross it out, then it must be an idea worth doing. So I'll get the game ready, I'll get a save file ready, and then I will kind of mentally, like before I record, I give myself a few days to be like, right, you need to get your life in check because you're going to sit down and play Pokemon for like 10 hours on that day. You're going to do it, and you're going to enjoy it.
Jeez.
And you're going to sit down and enjoy it.
And you record like B-roll wise, record the entire
everything, the entire thing. I obviously can't get it up now. I've just been playing through ZA with just water types, and the folder is 15 videos, and it's from the character creation screen all the way up until after the post credits roll, and it's every single bit of footage. And I'm sure that there's probably a better system than that, but it's the system where I can't mess up. When I first started, I actually played through about 6 hours of Emerald. I did from where was it? Maybe Moorville all the way up till like the Sutopolis bit. Maybe it's a really big bit, and I didn't hit record. I played like
that's defeating.
Most of the game.
But you gotta get up, brush yourself off,
There's a run out there that I've done that didn't see the light of day. That I can't remember what run it was. Maybe I just did it again, but you're like, oh, I can't upload a video where I get to like Watson and then go, by the way, I didn't record, but we've just done 5 badges. We're back. So yeah, that's how I do it. And then I used to script after. So like scripting for the content it's really rigid. Like I'll type up everything. I used to script after, and then I found myself being, I don't know, I found it hard to talk about what I was doing because I'd play through the game over a couple of days, and then I go and script it and go, well, I can't really remember what I was thinking at that moment. So now I like play on one screen and I script on the other screen as I go, and it feels like a bit more of a cohesive package. Like if something funny happens, then I go like, oh yeah, like that was a really funny bit. Like I'll talk about that. Like I've got a bit of footage of, the game being a bit glitchy, so I'll use that bit. Whereas before, I would have probably just forgotten that. And but yeah, that's sort of the creation. And then I spend like days inside Premiere Pro to the point where my room smells hot because my computer is on the carpet.
So a lot of a lot of time actually goes into making your content. Jeez.
It takes
That's
and this is why I was really pleased with the fire one that I did recently,
that they're doing really well.
because the game came out on Thursday. Came out on a Thursday, and that video was uploaded on a Sunday. So I played the entire game, and I think my save file was like 25 hours at the end, 26, 25 hours, something like that. And then I had to edit it and script it and record it and upload it. And initially it got 90 views in the first day, like 90 views. And I was like, I've just poured like 48 hours like straight computer time into this, please.
Then it started to take off though.
Yeah, and it's doing far better than I'd ever anticipated anything would ever do on my channel ever. So I'm incredibly thankful for all of it. And I'm glad that the effort I put in was realized by the general populace. Maybe.
I will say your thumbnails are like on point. Like they catch my eye. Like how even like my thumbnails are pretty trash, but did you like, I guess, how did you go about thumbnail design? Because it seemed like you already know what you were doing from the beginning.
So it's so funny. This is so glad you asked this, because this is so weirdly specific. When I was in secondary school, me and my friends made like a meme page, but for our friends. So like we'd make, rage comic stuff and taking the mick out of each other, but we'd use Photoshop. So we had to learn how to use Photoshop to make these funny, it would be my friend holding a fish and we'd swap the fish's head and his head over, like, stupid stuff like that. So then I became relatively like proficient with Photoshop, just through kind of taking the mick. And then I started looking at what other people do in thumbnails and thinking, well, if you were going to pull it apart, what have they really done? And everyone, people like bright colors that catch the eye. So it's like messing around with saturation levels in the background to try and make it feel really, because if you zoom into one of mine, it's probably really like crispy edged, all of it. But that's because I like smashed effects on it until it looks like kind of chaotic. And then there's a principle, I can't remember who said it. It must have been like when I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts or TikTok or something like that. Someone said you should design things for all people. Like if their eyesight is not, say, like 20/20 vision, it should be designed so that they can still read it. So it's almost like the philosophy of mine is that if it was really far away, you could still kind of see what's going on. And if you were close, you might see a little detail. That's kind of the way that I went about it. So like bright, kind of loud, and says what it does on the tin from a distance. That's my principle. And I had I had some videos where I did very small things initially. Like I think my very first video, in the background there is like a marrow on a blue towel, but you can't see that unless you really squint. And if you have to do that, you're probably staring at the thumbnail. Like no one's going to stare at the thumbnail that long. So I was like, oh, okay, it needs to be, similar to like the design philosophy of like everything now, which is, I think there's an album by Sum 41, which is a band I listen to a lot, called All Killer No Filler, and I've taken that philosophy into my work forever. That's my plan.
We seem to be doing well, so hopefully it continues.
No, I appreciate that. Man. Before I ask the question, in your Generation 4 save file with the Frontier, how far have you had much experience with Gen 4 Frontier at the moment, or are you still like team building? Or
only the battle factory. I played enough to get enough battle points for all the power items, so it's a pretty good amount, but no other facility. And I've looked up some like Pokemon in the battle tower just to kind of get an idea on team design for myself, but also what are we going into. But yeah, just mostly team design, and I'm just gonna get these 3 shinies that I think I built a pretty well balanced team of my favorite Pokemon, but aren't maybe like, the number one, number two, but a well balanced team with the three favorite Pokemon that we're going to try to run that as much as possible and not change really anything. That's where my head's at for that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, out of like I guess I'll ask it for the factory. Is there any like massive glaring differences you think there are between like the battle facilities in like Gen 4 and Gen 3 as it comes to the factory? Like, do you think there's many differences? Do you think it's super similar, or is there anything unexpected you found? Because I've never played the Gen 4 Frontier at all. I've never even touched it, so I'm completely alien to it. Whereas I feel like you've played so much of the Gen 3 Frontier and now experiencing like another iteration of that.
I mean, the as you probably know, the difference in the special physical split starts in that game, and that for like all of them, every move gets pretty much changed, and then how you approach building like Pokemon is going to change because there's just so many more options you can have. I think pretty much every Pokemon is going to have better, in my opinion, better moves that more suit them. Like even Steelix with the move Crunch. Now all of a sudden that's a physical attack move, so we can run that, and that opens up this whole other tree of possibilities for the team and like what we can cover like from like a super effective point of view. So I mean, I think there's a lot different, but when you break it down, you're still building similar teams like with good Pokemon, good moves, trying to make them well balanced. And I mean, there's so many other items too. I can't really. I mean, trying to think some off the top of my head, but there's some other berries that prevent you from maybe taking a super effective attack, like adding that to something like Flygon or even Aggron that makes it so much better. But yeah, there's so many more possibilities. I want to be careful with my words. There's so many possibilities in Gen 3, but there's so many other new ones in Gen 4 because of the whole new Pokemon, new moves, new split of the moves, and more items. So many more combinations and things to consider.
Like so many more paints for the palette, really, isn't it? Like,
it's a lot.
I can imagine that it must be quite like intense going into that first time. Be like, oh wow, there is so much to consider. Like, I didn't even think about the berries because obviously there's that Gyarados set. I think it was quite popular that uses the anti-electric or anti-ice berry? I can't remember. Which really makes it, they are like so much better than it ever could have been in Gen 3.
Because you can likely survive a super effective electric attack, which is ridiculous if you combine like Dragon Dance and stuff. Yeah, a lot of things to consider.
It does sound interesting. I might have to.
Oh, it's awesome.
I might have to do a little run through. I might have to do a run through and maybe join you on that at some point. I might have to get myself to positions. But I need that gold. I need that gold tower and emerald first before I think about that.
Yeah, get that first, and then head on over to Gen 4. Yeah, I'm probably be focusing on the battle tower for that because you need the 100 wins for the trainer card, and I mean, not that the other facilities don't matter to me, but that's the main one that I'm focusing on for Gen 4.
100?
100 wins.
Oh, well, that's astronomical.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that high. I thought it would be like...
I think it's a little bit...
You've booked out the next like 15 years.
I think it shouldn't be that hard though. Let me just double check. It's 100 wins. I don't think I've got
I don't think I would have the patience for it. I think if I got to 85 or something and lost, I'd be crushed.
Defeat 100 trainers in a row in the battle tower. And yeah, I want that black trainer card. That thing is sick.
Oh, it looks amazing. It looks so cool. Yeah. I've got more, I think maybe probably inspired by yourself talking about trainer cards. It was never something I considered.
They're just cool.
Until watching your content. And now suddenly it's like another thing that I want.
Just the other day, so Fire Red Leaf Green, that trainer card, you need to do that thing with the Dodrios or like I don't even know what to call it, the multiplayer game,
Yes. Like the I know what it is.
It's on like 2 islands.
Roomy stuff.
It's basically
Yeah.
just some weird thing you got to use like to trade or not trade, but you got to do it with other people. And so I'm like, I'm never doing that. That's dumb. The other day I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do it. So I'm probably going to try that this weekend, see if we could see how hard it is. But I think I need like 3 Game Boys. So I'm going to try and use 2 of my hands to get this done. Maybe I'll, yeah. I don't know.
One Game Boy just watching.
I just want the trainer card. Like I'm never gonna. It's the only trainer card I have left for Fire or the star for Fire Red. So it's like let's just try
It's
and get
almost
it
like
done.
you have to then, isn't it? You've got to go for that.
Make myself suffer. So maybe just if you want to reiterate, where people could find you.
So I run Macho Brace on YouTube, which is at Macho_Brace. I'm also on TikTok, if you can find that, but that's been very dormant and derelict for a long time. And if you expect to see content on there, you're sorely mistaken. So yeah, if you want to find me, I'm on YouTube. I'm fairly active in responding to comments as well. So if you've got anything you want to ask me about stuff, just go for it. I also have an email address, which is smashobrace@gmail.com. So if you want any questions to ask me about anything at all, go for it. Go for it. But yeah, that's me. That's me.
Be sure to leave all the links and information in the description below. So if anyone wants to go check that out, find Macho, easily can do so. But anyway, thank you for your time. It's been a great conversation chatting about not only Pokemon, but also another content creator's point of view on, just getting the videos out and seeing how you also enjoy it and embed it in your life. But definitely appreciate your time coming on.
Yeah, no, I've really, really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed it. It's so nice to talk about Pokemon and obviously talking about content and stuff as well, and the journey and where we're at and how my team needs Metagross. All good learning moments across the board here.
And if you get another team in the future, you can always come back on. It'd be fun to chat about.
And I'm sure in a couple of months' time, I'll be saying, look, I've got Metagross in the team. I've actually golded everything now. Let's chat about it. Let's reiterate this.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in, listening. Be sure to check out Macho's channel, and we'll be chatting again soon in another podcast. But thanks, Macho. Thanks, everybody, for listening.